Welcome back to another episode of the Body, Mind, Strong podcast. My name is Renee, your host and integrative wellness coach. My mission with Body and Mind Strong is to help active, busy women reclaim their health, strength, and sense of self in a sustainable way that fits their life. Hope you all are having a great day. Actually, it's been a really beautiful morning here. Actually, the last couple mornings have been beautiful because they've been on the cool side, which is super nice. And I know some of you all back east are so ready for summer. Well, I will have to tell you, our summer started knocking on our door last month. And so it's nice to kind of have a little reprieve before the intense heat starts coming. And it's going to be coming soon for us here in the Southwest. So, all right, today's topic is a topic that gets brought up quite often, and that is isolating fat loss. Can you do it? Is it possible to isolate fat loss? All right, let's get my beautiful little PowerPoint presentation up. There we go. All right. So today I'm going to be talking about a research study. And actually, I got this information from Dr. Bill Campbell. He is a professor out of one of the state universities in Florida, and he is great. So much wealth of knowledge. I've been following him for several years. Lots of information about like nutrition and fitness. And every month he sends out these studies. He does 2 research studies a month. And he sends them out. And if you're interested in learning more about research studies and how he breaks it all down, because he does a great job of breaking them down, check out his website. So you can find him at billcampbellphd.com. But also definitely follow him on Instagram at the same thing, Bill Campbell PhD. And he's a lot of great information, like I said. Plus, recently, thanks to his beautiful wife, he has started finding research studies and doing things on perimenopausal and menopausal women. So we definitely need to support that. So definitely check him out on YouTube and Instagram as well. But the study he did is called Aerobic Endurance Exercise Reveals Spot Reduction Exists, a randomized control trial. So here's all the information from the study, and I will put the information to the original study in the show notes as well. So if you want to check that out, because today I'm just going to give you the basic details of it. So if you really want to dive deeper into it, the info is going to be on the show notes. So who was in the study? Well, 16 males in their early 40s, take note of that, who had a BMI greater than 25, but were generally healthy. And they could not have been engaged in any kind of training plan during this time or prior to it. Now, they had 2 groups. They had a spot reduction group and a control group. In the spot reduction group, their exercises they did was treadmill running and 2 abdominal exercises. And the control group just did the treadmill running. And they did these exercises 4 days a week for 10 weeks. Now, no nutrition-related controls were provided. And if I read correctly, they were at least given how many calories they kind of needed to have, because they did a really good job of matching calories to the output. But they weren't given like a meal plan or anything like that, or macro guidance. So that's another take note of. And then they measures the before and after through a DEXA scan, utilizing a DEXA scan. They measured the trunk, lower, and upper extremities. Now, results. So initial results from the study showed that the spot reduction group lost about 3% more body fat in the torso than the controlled group, and the control group lost more body fat in their lower extremities, right? Everybody's getting excited about this, but hang on to that. But the results do show that with the running, because they did no abs, all they did was running. So using their leg muscles, they lost more in the lower extremities. The ones who did the abs lost more in the abs, right? But both groups overall lost approximately the same amount of total body fat. So this really shows that, hey, this is a possibility. Now, I love research studies. I love kind of getting into them. And for those of you who are kind of new or just not really liking research studies, when you hear a research study, if it supports your cause or your narrative, you can't just go with it and run. With research studies, you have to take everything with a grain of salt, and you have to compare it to other studies. So if you find one study that proves your point, but you can't find any other studies that do that, you need to be aware of that. You need to take that in consideration. So we're looking for consistency across studies to prove a point, right? But in the limitations for here, one was only males. Another one, there was no nutrition control. So we have no clue how nutrition played a part in this. And we do know nutrition plays a part in our health, mental health, physical health, right? And then also, it's not really so much a limitation of the study, but a big thing to take note of is that other studies have contradicted this study, especially with studies involving both men and women, right? So they weren't able to match this study. So I think at this point, we haven't been able to replicate the study, right? So it showed some positive results, but it hasn't been replicated. So a lot of good information. So you take all this with a grain of salt and kind of figure out how you want to take this information and proceed with it, right? All right. So next, my coaching stance on spot reduction. I am not a fan of spot reduction, but I won't discount it. I'm not a fan for a few reasons. One, there's no definite proof on it. I mean, for years, I've been hearing both yay and nay to it. So there's no definite proof either way with spot reduction, right? So we can't definitely say no. We can't definitely say yes on it either. And for me, when I'm working with clients, when you first come to me, especially if you haven't been exercising for a while and you have a lot of other things to focus on, because when you first come to me, the core of my coaching is the mind, right? We're focusing on yourself. We're focusing on habits. We're focusing on behaviors. We're focusing on your mindset. And then we add nutrition and fitness, personal training on around it to complete this whole pie, right? So if you're coming to me and you're brand new, I'm not going to want to work on spot reduction at first. I'm going to focus on getting your habits healthier for you, getting yourself set into the right routine, improving the mindset. There's several things I want to work on first. And then we're also going to work on total body. Like we're going to focus on the whole body when it comes to exercising. And so we want that whole balance, your muscle mass to be balanced, right? And if you start focusing on just one area of the body, that can increase stress, right? In the beginning, we definitely don't want that. We want to be able to nurture you, balance it, everything out. So when you first come to me, that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at your nutrition balance. We're going to look at your sleep. We're going to focus on your mindset, loving your body the way it is. Now, but after a while, if you've been with me for a while and you come and you're like, hey, we've been focusing on training. We've been focusing on cardio. I'm doing great with the mindset. Everything is perfect. I want to start working on isolating fat loss. I'm like, okay, well, let's try it. And so knowing that if you're in a better mindset, we're going to roll with it. But I'm also going to focus on your strength training program to incorporate that, because one of the things I don't like about spot reduction is people get so focused, especially you hear this all the time when it comes to your stomach. Everybody wants to lose their belly fat. So they get so focused on that abs that they forget their back. And we don't want to do that. We need to have this, your body needs to be balanced, because kind of looking at it this way, like you start working on, here's your abs, here's your back muscles. You start working on your ab muscles, they get stronger and they start pulling in. And if you don't work on your back, they're weaker and they're going to start curving. So it doesn't protect your spine. So we want your core to be protected. We want your spine to be protected. So if we're going to be focusing on abs, I'm going to be focusing on your back as well. So I'm going to make sure that's in your training plan. And also, like, even when you first start with me, we're going to be focused on resistance training. That to me is primary and cardio is secondary. We're not going to discount cardio, because you do need cardio for heart health, cardiovascular health, right? Lung health. We still need cardio in there, and cardio can also be great for the mind. But strength training, especially for women, I'm a huge advocate for strength training for women. That's going to be kind of the core. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to the gym. We're going to be focused on resistance training. So that is kind of my stance. Yes, I'm not a fan on it, but I'm not going to discount it. It's all going to come down to where you are at in your journey. And then we're going to take a look at it and we're going to roll with it. So that is it. And if you have any questions on this topic, definitely reach out to me. And if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to my podcast or tell someone else about it. I would greatly appreciate it. You may also find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube at Body and Mind Strong. Also, if this episode resonates with you and you're ready for more clarity, balance, and support in your wellness journey, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out to me at Renee@bodyandmindstrong.com, or you can check out my website, bodyandmindstrong.com. And stay tuned for more episodes on helping you create a healthier, happier, stronger life for yourself. And make sure you're doing at least one thing today that's going to get you one step closer to one of your goals. All right, take care.